I think my voice is clear. I'm just presenting my screen. Hope you guys can see my screen. So I've created this document actually. So I'll share this after the class. So I've listed all the topics which we are going to see, and it's what you can say the definition of it, and I've also made some examples for it. This is the gist. So most probably we will be going through this gist, and for HTML we will be going through that, and for CSS we'll be going through this gist. I'll be sharing this document with you after this class. So what you guys need to do is like just based on today's class, just experiment, just try it out. And after the class, I will add some things to do here in this document. I will add some exercise kind of thing, or what you guys need to do for the next week. So you can try it out and you can just send it to me. Most probably, like apart from like in this full stack course, the one stack which we are starting, the easiest part is I would say is like is the HTML and CSS part, because these are like self-learning thing and you can easily learn, and that's it. So try to like do it, so don't exclude it. Also, uh, you guys can see my VS Code, right? Okay, cool. So I will just give a glance like what we saw like in the last week. So we just saw why we use HTML. I think most of you would have the understanding, but I'll just touch upon it. So basically, HTML and CSS and JavaScript is used in the front end of the web application, and your web browser, for example, Chrome or Brave, whatever web browser you may use, but the web browser only understands HTML and CSS JavaScript, so that there is no alternative for HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, because all the browsers in the around the world, like it is built to understand these three languages only. So you can ask me why we are using React, Vue, Next.js, etc., etc. All these things are just framework. It is these frameworks will help us to build the HTML and CSS in a better way. And when we compiling that, when we running the React or Vue.js project, at the end it will just throw the HTML and CSS JavaScript to the browser. The way we write the code may be different, but at the end it also gives the HTML and CSS to the browser. So the first thing you want to understand is why we do this. So why we do this is because we want to build a UI for the client to interact. So if you build an application, your user needs to interact with the web application through some UI, right? So thus that UI is built using the HTML and CSS and JavaScript. Also for HTML, last class we saw what is HTML, what is CSS, and what is JavaScript. If you didn't, if you missed last class, just please go through the class recording. We have just gone through like what is HTML, what is CSS. Basically, HTML is like a building block, like a building, constructing a building. CSS is like a painting a building. So that is the example which I gave. In depth, we gave a few other examples which you can go through in next class. I mean the previous class. So in today's class, we are going to cover these topics. These are enough for I mean for starters. So there are bunch of things which I said in last class. There are a lot of things. If you thought of learning all the HTML, all the CSS, you couldn't learn, because there are a lot of things. So no one will learn all the things at a single go. So you can just start with simple basic things, then these things, and after that, whenever you do a project, if you need a new thing, you can just learn it whenever you want and just implement it. Also, don't memorize everything. Just start with the basics and just build projects with it. Whenever you need a new thing, you can just learn at that point of time. That is what. No one, like even a senior developer, don't know a front end developer. You will not remember every HTML things. So whenever he needs a new thing, you will just Google it and just find it out. So that is how everything works. So first, I think everyone will be clear until now. So I think the first topic which we are going to talk is the HTML structure, which we discussed in the previous class. So HTML will contain three main parts. One is main tag, which is HTML. I think I have the example with me, so that's why it is pre-filled. So this is if you want I can just delete it. This is style, this is body. I'm just deleting it to understand it better. So first topic we are topping is like the structure. Basically, these things are not needed. So what is mentioned? HTML stands for hypertext markup language. This is the full form, hypertext markup language, and is used to structure web pages, which I said earlier. Also, don't misunderstand that HTML and CSS is a programming language. HTML and CSS is not a programming language. In interview, also some people might for a tricky question they might ask you, is HTML CSS a programming language? HTML and CSS is not a programming language. HTML and CSS is a markup language. So whenever some people ask you this question, you need to say HTML and CSS is a markup language. That is the thing. This is not a programming language. Okay. So the structure of it is simple. So example, HTML head and body, these are the three main components. So HTML tag will wrap the main, I mean it is a wrapper. So inside it only you need to give the all other main components. So in this scenario, inside it we can give all the metadata. uh, Metadata, we are not jumping into metadata and all those things. In previous class also I gave some example for metadata, you can go through that. So inside it, mostly we will give inside it, we give the title of the web page. Title of the web page is it will show something like here. For example, here it is showing HTML CSS Google Docs. So whatever you give here, it will show it. I will show an example in another project. After that, body, inside body only you will give whatever you are seeing inside the web browser. It comes from the body. I will just show you, that would be better. So I'm just starting this. So I'm just rendering it. This is the HTML basics code which I have here. So this it has the main HTML component. So this is the main component. The first one is static. Like in every project, you need to type this. That is simply but doc type to browser easily can understand this document is HTML, so that it will easily interrupt. It will easily render this things in the browser. So the first tag is HTML. The second tag is head. Then third tag is body. These are the main three tags. Though remember that inside the HTML tag only head tag will come, and after that body will come. So inside it, whatever you give as title, here the title is HTML Basics, right? So here you can see that the title as HTML Basics. So majorly in the head, you need to worry only about the title actually. These meta I will come to it at the later point. And you can give these styles also in there. Like you can use the styles, I mean the tag, and you just open it, and inside it you will write these styles, actually styles for the element. We will come through it again when we talk about these styles in detail. Then we have body. Whatever you give inside this body, this is the content which you see in the web page. So for example, here there is a first word called HTML basics example. So that word comes from the first line of the body, right? So whatever you give inside the body, that is the thing which you are going to see it in the web page. That's it, easy. So we talked about HTML head and body. Then we are going to talk about the tags. So there are many tags in HTML. I mean, for example, in last class also I said there are plenty of tags. You don't need to remember everything. We are going to see only whichever things you needed the most. Okay. So for example, tags defines HTML in tags define elements in an HTML document. Examples include P for paragraphs, H for headings, an example div and span. There are a lot of things. Okay, so we are going to see only few. So for example, this is a heading tag. So div is nothing but a, for example, div is nothing but a divider, you can say. So you can read the definition also here. Div element has no special meaning at all. It represents its children. It can be used within a class language. So div is nothing but to divide. I mean, to separate it, something like that. So whatever you put inside this div, you can write a separate styling for it. For example, you can give a class name to the div, and you can write a separate styling for these whatever things present inside it. So there is a concept in HTML called like parent element, child element, all those things. We will also talk about this later. Right now we are touching upon the basics. Then later, whenever there will be a class called DOM actually. So in the DOM class, you will understand these things which I'm trying to say, the child element, parent element. So this is basic class. So we don't want to dive deeper into it. So that will be a separate class you guys will have in later. So basically you can understand div is nothing but a divider. So it helps to divide the elements which we write in the HTML and put it in a separate set of things, right? So you can think it of as a divider. So inside this div element, we are putting 3 HTML. So you can just uh, so while writing HTML CSS also, you can just separate this window something like this, so that you will easily understand. You need to give Windows and right click button to separate the windows like this. So whatever, so the first element is H1, so which you can see it here, and H2. So H1 and H2 is nothing but headings. That's what I mentioned it here. So where it is. Okay, so H1 is for headings, right? So H1 and H2, H3, everything is but sizes. So H1 will be bigger, H2 will be smaller, H3 will be smaller. It extends up to H6. So this is very basics. I think you guys easily understand this. Next tag is paragraph. So paragraph is nothing but paragraph. We can write paragraph using the p tag. So whatever thing you need to do in HTML, whatever thing you need to present in your web page, there is a tag separately for it. For example, if you want to give a heading, then you can use heading tag. For example, if you want to write a paragraph, then you can use the paragraph tag. So there are many tags. We are just seeing the basic ones. So first we saw about the headings. Second, we are seeing about the paragraphs. So I wrote a paragraph, I mean, in a heading. So I gave a heading called paragraphs, which is in H2. You can ask me like how this color comes. We will discuss about this while discussing about the CSS part. Let's first talk about the HTML things. Then I gave a H2 and I also used a divider here. So inside the divider, I've used the p tag. So inside this p tag, I gave a random text actually. So it is rendered something like this. This is straightforward. If you want to write a paragraph, use p tag. That's it. Third one is links. I think, yeah, we didn't. Okay, so third one is links. This also we discussed in last class. So here also I gave a heading as links, and I've added a divider here. Inside the divider, what I'm trying to do is I'm writing a paragraph. In this paragraph, if you see here, this is that paragraph. Click here to visit an example website. But this click to visit here, all the things are in a normal paragraph kind of thing. This is same as, but here as something different thing. If I click it, it goes to a different domain or different web URL. So that is you can do that using the a tag. A tag is nothing but called attribute tag. If you hover this, you can just read the example. I mean the definition. A element as an href attribute, then it is represents a hyperlink. So whatever there is a attribute called href. That is what this topic is called. So attributes provide additional information about HTML elements, usually within the opening tag. Usually within the opening tag means if you see the a tag is not even closed, the a tag is opened, and they have given the attributes as href, class, and target. So after that only it is closing. Can you see the a tag is opening here, but it is closing here only. Then they are putting some word and they are closing it. So that is what they are mentioning is attributes provide additional information about HTML elements, usually within the opening tag. So if you see paragraph, there is no additional information about paragraph. Here only we are just declaring it and giving some paragraph inside it. But for a tag, what we are doing is we are also giving some word inside it. Also, we are giving some additional information. Additional information, nothing but like href, class, and target. Right now, I will remove this target. For example, if I remove this target, if I save it, if I open this, if I click this here again, it will open in the same tab. If you see, it is opening in the same tab. So to avoid this, for example, you can ask me if I click this, it wants I want it to open in a separate tab. So in that scenario only, you need to give some additional attributes. So this attribute is called target. If you give target equals to underscore blank, if I again save it, If I click it again, it will open in a new tab. So the additional functionality with a tag you can do with these attributes. That's it. So I will explain about class and ID later. So in every element there will be a class. I will explain about the class later. But right now, simply understand a tag is used to what? To put some links in the text. You can just click it and just open it. You can put links. You can put links for images also. What you need to do is right now what they are doing is this is the p tag. Inside the p tag, they are just writing simple paragraph. For example, I will remove this. If I save this, this is becoming a simple paragraph. This is same as this. This is literally same as this. But you want, for example, you are writing click here, click here. So this is simply a paragraph right now. So if you want a link to be present here, if you want a link to be present here, you just simply what you need to do is you need to wrap this here into a tag. So open the a tag and close the a tag after the here and save it. If you do that, you won't see any clickable thing here right now. So what you need to do is then only you need to give the href as http https or something like google.com, whatever you want, google.com, and save it. So after once I give that, can you see the color is changed and the underline has came. If I click that, it will open the google.com. This is simple. Like wherever you want to give a link, just wrap the text with the a tag. If you want to, we can give to any other thing also. You can give the link to the heading also. You can give link to the images also. You just need to wrap it with the a tag. Simple. Until up now, any doubts? If you have any doubts, just stop me and ask. Don't hesitate. Right. Okay. So if you have any doubts, don't hesitate to ask. That's why you guys are attending this class, to ask doubts. So a tag is simply to have the links. Okay. I'm just putting it. Okay. So there's a topic called attributes. We saw what is tags and what is elements. Nothing but tags is called h1 and all these p tag and etc etc. What is called attributes? Attributes provide additional information about HTML elements, usually within the opening tag. That's the example which I gave in the a tag. So these are the attributes. The href is called an attribute. The class is called an attribute. The target is called an attribute. What attribute does it? It provides some additional information. So if I didn't provide target, if I click on the link, it will open in the same tab. I'm giving the a tag an additional information. Please open the link in a new tab. That is a new additional information, right? So that your browser understands, okay, I need to open this. Whenever user clicks on the link, I want to open it in a new tab. That is an additional information. So there are multiple things you can do with an element. For this p doesn't have any additional information. You can have it. So that is the example for this attributes. So the examples for attributes are class, ID, and href. Right now, we discussed about the href. We'll discuss about class and ID. So okay, then we are so right now you guys understood headings, paragraphs, and links. How to add links to a particular text. Okay, you can add it to image also. You can just try it out while you're doing the homework exercise. You can just wrap it around the image. Just you what you need to do is this is the image tag. Inside you need to wrap it around the a tag. Then once you click the image, it will go to some URL. You can do it as an exercise also. It is straightforward thing. Okay, right now you guys understood paragraphs, headings. So next thing we are coming is list. First we will see the definition. So for list, HTML support ordered list and unordered list. So this thing we discussed in last class. At last moment we rushed it, so we will see it little bit slow now. So for list, if you see, there are a couple of things. One is ordered list, one is unordered list. It is straightforward. Ordered list will have 1, 2, 3, and unordered list will have bullet points. These are in no order. That's why it has bullet points. These are in some order. One is the first, second one is the second, third one is that is the ordered list. So to define an unordered list, what you need to do is, so here also I'm giving an H2, which is called heading as list. and I'm putting everything inside a divider, which is called div element. Inside this div element, I'm again using an h3, which is called heading as unordered list. And after that, I'm using this main thing. Main thing is this is the tag which we use to declare the list actually. If you use ul is nothing but unordered list. This is short form. If you use ul, it will declare an unordered list. If I'll just remove this. I'll just remove this. If I save it, you won't see anything here. This UL doesn't show anything to you. Okay. If you declare some UL, nothing will be shown in the viewer web page. You need to declare some elements, right? So that only it shows. You can declare elements using what? Li. Li is nothing but list actually. If you hover this, it will give some again definition. Li elements represent a list item. Since this is a list, right? So this is the list item. So I am doing undo. So I'm saving it. So how many items you want? You just need to declare it using the li tag. Everything is called tag here. Okay. So first item, last, second item, third item. So similarly, if you want an order list like 1, 2, 3, I want some order to it, you can just use the OL. OL is called ordered list, and simply you can use the same LI to it. That is not, the list elements will be same. It will be LI. The only thing which matters is using which tag you are wrapping it. If you are wrapping it using OL or UL, it determines and renders it. This is also straightforward, I guess. Okay, I think everyone would have understood this UL and OL. You can just implement this and try it out different things using it. So okay, next thing is tables. Everyone is with me, right? You guys are, it is understandable, right? Okay, okay. So next thing we are going to talk about is tables. So if you see again, uh, same thing. Again, I'm declaring an h2, which shows me which shows as table, and again I'm declaring a development. So for table there are three tags. So for table there are three important tags. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, I didn't add tables as an topic here. You can easily understand. For tables, there are three elements. For example, for list, there are two elements, right? Three elements: ordered list, unordered list, and li. Li is called list. There are three main elements you need to remember. For table, for table also there are three main elements you need to remember. We can say four elements, but this table is easy. So for example, if you want to declare a table, same for list. What you are doing for list, you are just wrapping in the sense you are wrapping right inside this tag. So simply for list, what you are doing, you are wrapping inside ul or ol. So similarly, you need to wrap it inside a table tag. Initially what you need to do, you just need to simply declare this. The first declare this element, then inside it you need to give the details of the table, that we will go through it step by step. So first focus on this first part. So TR is nothing but a table row. So first thing, something like this. What table consists of? Table consists of rows. Rows is the main thing, and columns. So rows is the main thing here. We will not declare columns explicitly as TL or something like that. TC, that will not be a table column. So you can simply declare something like this. Then it will understand. Okay, this is the next column. This is the next column. This is the next column. Column is nothing but 1, 2, 3 in the vertical order, right? So for example, TR is nothing but a table row. This means this is the first row. It understand, okay, this is the first row. Then again you see the next row. It is mentioned as TR. Again what it is understand is, it will understand as this is the next row. Then third one, then it will understand this is the third row. Straightforward, simple. Until now it is very simple. So what you will first do, you will write a table tag. Inside it you will first decide in your mind like how many row I'm going to have. So for example, in this scenario we are going to have 3 row. So that's why you are declaring TR and TR and TR. So 3 TRs, TR tags. TR is nothing but table row. Okay, so inside it once you declare it, you need to give some data, right? Like what I need to show in the first column, second column, third column. That is what this is. So there is some nuance to it. For example, these couple of things are declared as td. Td is nothing but table data cell. This data, right? Each one thing is data, so td is called as table data cell. This is also, you can call it as table data, simple. Okay. So whenever you can give data as td, but whenever you want to give heading, you need to give it as th. So th is nothing but heading. It will consider this as an heading. Okay. So that is simply, so using this heading you can just write some. It's running now. Okay. So TD is nothing but table data. So for example, if you want to have 10 rows, you will declare 10 tr and you will give some data. So here column is nothing but this single item. So for example, John Doe is the first column, second column is 30. This is the second column, age is the second column, city is the third column. Straightforward. So for name you will give John Doe, and for this for the name table heading. This is called table heading. If you see, th element represents a header cell in the table. This is the header, name, age, and city. You declare the header. Even header goes into the tr element only, because header will also be a row, right? A row, right? That's why heading also goes inside a table row tag. Then the next element. If you want to add fourth element, you just copy this. You just go here. So you will just need to edit the data. So for example, right, tr. So here what you need to understand is you will understand, okay, the first element is name, because the t heading is first one is name, right? So you will give something, you will give some name here. Then you will see these, okay, the second heading is age, so I will give some age. Age is something like 49. TD, TD is nothing but city, so you will give some city. Okay, then save it. You will have the third row. Simple, straightforward. I think you guys are brilliant, so you guys will understand everything, I believe, until up now. So, okay, any doubts in this table? Okay, we will go a little bit fast, I think. Okay, then then next topic is nothing but images. We are going to complete the HTML thing. So next one is images. Images we saw in last class also. So again, I'm declaring in H2. Again, I'm declaring within a divided element. Inside this divided element, I'm declaring an image. So for in HTML, if you see, every element will have a closing tag. For example, if I declare an A element, it will have a closing tag. But only for image tag, there is no closing. You need to remember this. So for image, there is no closing tag. Image will be something like this. Image, and you need to close something like this. Image will not have this something like this. This is not applicable for image. Oh, sorry, it auto completes. So image will not have something like this. You just remember this. For image, there is only single tag. Okay. So image will have only single tag, and you will open it. Once you open it, there are three class I will discuss in later part in the CSS. So there are a couple of things which we need to discuss. This is called also attribute. Whatever you give inside an opening tag, this is an element, it is closing here. Whatever you give inside this is called an attribute. So for this div, what is attribute? Class is the attribute. It is closing here. It is the first element tag is closing here. So whatever inside we are giving, that is called attribute. Class attribute, alternate attribute, source attribute. So for image, there are two main attributes. First one is source. Nothing but source. What it means is, this is the source of the image. So since this is an image, right? Like you need to give the source. Okay, from what image I need to render it. So for example, I gave us some random image. If I open this image says 200 into 200. If we go to a web page, it also says 200 into 200. So this is also straightforward. In the source, what you need to give? The source, the URL of the image. You can also download this image and put it into some, what you can say. You can put it in some folder. For example, I have some soda image here. This example is shown in the last class. So you can also show that image. What you need to do is, instead of HTTP, instead of this URL, you need to give a different URL. You dot and slash means it will show the whatever is present inside this root. This is called root. This root has two folders and one file. Two folders and one file. So if I give dot slash, it will show whatever is present inside the root. So two folder and one file. I'm clicking on the images, and it automatically puts a slash. If I put a slash, it will show whatever is present inside the image folder. Right now, inside image folder, what are the things I have? I have only soda image. If I click on soda image, it will show soda image. This is straightforward. So the two things you can give. You can give a direct URL, the HTTP URL. Second thing is, you can just download the image and put it in some folder or put it outside, and you need to give the correct path to it. So if you give the correct path, it will just render. That's it. So you can ask me what is alt. Alt is called alternate. For example, this image can be sometime broke, or this image can be sometime lost, or for example, if you gave some wrong path to it. In that scenario, if the what image tag does is, whenever it cannot find this path, whenever it cannot find this path, it will show this alternate text to the user, so that they can understand, okay, in this place there was an image, it is called this, but we cannot see this image. Right now I'm giving it, I'm just modifying this URL. I'm giving a wrong path to it, so that it won't be able to find this image, right? Then what it does, we can see. I'm giving a wrong path. I'm just saving it. It actually finds the path. We can do slash something. I'm giving a wrong path to it. So there is no file called Jew inside the images folder. So that is a wrong folder. So this is a wrong path I gave. So what image tag does is, it actually shows the alternate. It shows the alternate to the user. So the user will understand. Okay, there was a. You can give something. You can just change it. You can give it as soda image, so that user can understand. Okay, there was a soda image, but that image was broken for some reason. So they can easily understand. Okay, there was a soda image there. That's it. Simple. So alternate is used for what? Alternate is used whenever the link is broken or link is invalid. It will show alternate to the user to just understand. Right now also I'm giving a wrong URL to the image. That's why it's showing the wrong, I mean the alternate to the user. I'm giving the correct path and saving it. It hides the alternate wording. Actually, it shows the correct image here. So that's it. Image is also straightforward. You can give a downloaded image, or you can give HTTP URL. Alternate is used for whenever the URL is wrong or path is wrong. It will show the this alternate text to the user. Okay. The last part we are going to discuss is the form. So okay, image I gave a description. And forms allows user input handles through form, which feels like input and text area and button. Form is straightforward. What you will have in the form, you can have whatever things you want inside a form. You can have multiple text box. So in this scenario, what we are having, this is the form. So in this form, what we are having, name and email and message and submit. These are the three things. So to declare a form, what you need to do is, again you need to use the form tag. Simple, straightforward, like we use table, ordered list, unordered list. Similarly, you need to use a tag called form, and inside this form you need to write elements whatever you want. I'm just cutting it now and saving it. You won't see anything here inside the form. So this is just a tag. So inside this you need to give the details. I want to have like field called email, password, and etc. You can have whatever things you want. So once you give that, it will render it as a form. Actually, that's it. So first thing what we are doing is, we are rendering something called label. This element we didn't see it earlier. Label is nothing but a text. It shows the text. So this is called label. It shows the text as name, which I gave it inside this. For is nothing but, right now I think once we once we introduce the JavaScript, then only these things will be easily understandable. Right now, don't worry about the for tag. For attribute. This is called attribute. Whatever you give inside this is called attribute. So like when we use for attribute is, we can understand it later while we are going to JavaScript. So right now you don't need it. Okay, simple. So label is used for what? Label is used to just show a name, a text. BR is used, not, why BR is used? BR is nothing but a break element. So if I remove this break, the input will show it in the same line. Can you see? Then the input box is showing right next to the label. If I want to break it and show it in the next line, I will use this tag. So that's what I'm saying. There are a lot of tags in the HTML. So you don't need to remember everything. Just these are simple things like BR is for break. If you use that, the next element will go in next line. These are simple things. So you don't need to remember. Just you can learn it as you go. That's it. So right now we are seeing a new tag which is called input. Similarly to image, input also doesn't have the closing thing. So input also doesn't have the closing thing. So inside input there are multiple things here. So right now inside input, what we are multiple attributes. First attribute is called text. Text is nothing but we are just telling the input box like what type we are going to type in. For example, I can change this to password. If I save this to password and save, if I type, you can see. Can you see? It is showing me dot 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 dot. So this it identifies, okay, the type of this input box is password. So I should not show the whatever the thing user typing. I should not show it to the end user. That means client. So that I'm not seeing anything whatever I type. I'm seeing only dot dot dot. So type is nothing but you can give whatever type you want. So if this is a text, you can give as text so that it is straightforward. If you don't give this also, it is okay. It behaves same only. If you don't give also, it behaves same only. So that is your choice. If you give in some scenario you will need it. For example, for email you will need it, and etc etc. Then ID, I think ID also. So yeah, ID I've registered it here. If you see attributes. In the attributes, I gave example as class, ID, and href. So class we saw it earlier, and ID, and these two things I will discuss. I will show it while explaining the CSS, because these two things are mainly used in the CSS. So I will explain it later. Okay. So you just ignore the name is nothing but I think name only I deleted here. So name also we don't need here right now. Name is nothing but just a placeholder that this is this, this is that, this is that. I'm just saving it up, saving it. So right now you need to worry about only two things. One is the type, one is the placeholder. Placeholder is nothing but if you see inside it, inside there is a text is showing. Enter your name. That is what called placeholder. Whenever I type, the placeholder will disappear. I can give whatever you want. Enter your age. If I save it, can you see the age is it is showing the placeholder. So nothing but the placeholder will be shown inside the input box. Whenever I type, it will disappear. Simple, straightforward. ID we will discuss later, and type I've said earlier. Type is easy. And BR I'm giving two break elements here. If I remove it will look awful. If I remove it, see it looks very awful. Email, and so I just gave two BR to break the line. So next, this is straightforward. Similarly, you will give a label for email. Then you will give a input box. In the input box, they will type the email. Placeholder is called enter your email. Type is email. So in this email, like there are multiple. I mean, what you can say with the type email, you can do some things, something using what you can say using JavaScript. So you can restrict user typing some kind of elements, like you can ask user if this is email, it should definitely have at attribute I mean at text actually. So it checks for those things. Whenever user submits a form, it checks whether this email input, I mean whether this email input box have the at attribute. Can you see it? It is easy here. See, can you see? Please enter a part followed by at is incomplete. So it knows what this field is about. So it knows this field is about an email, so it gives me the alert. This is not the actual way to type an email. That's what it's trying to say. If I do at here, if I hover here, it is not saying anything, right? See, this input has the type email, this input has the type text. But if I hover on this, it shows me some warning. This is not the right way to type an email. If I do the same hovering on the name, it does not shows anything. So what you can understand is like the type is just to the form to understand what the user is going to type. So you can give password, email, text, whatever you want. So based on that, it will have some HTML has some logic inside it, and it will render the things based on that. So until everyone understands, right? Like, okay. So next thing is again message. This is straightforward. So again, we have an ID called message, and ID we will discuss later. Then we have name called message. Name also doesn't need now. Name. I'm saving it. We don't have type for actually for the text area. It is in the tag itself. It is mentioned as text area, right? So we don't want any explicit type for it, because input can be different at different scenario. It can be email input, it can be password input, but text area will always be text area. So we don't have type here. We have some ID we will discuss later. We have rows is nothing but the length of the message box. Like right now it is little bit larger, right? If you want to, if I change this to 10, it will be much larger. The row number of rows you want inside the message element, that's it. Placeholder your message, straightforward. Then we are having some break element, then we are having some input. But right now what we like I said, this is email, this is text. Here if I give it as submit, see it turns it to a button. You can give button also here, you can directly give button element also here, but I just gave the input and I type as submit. If I remove the type, see, this becomes a input box. So type is used in these scenarios. That's what I said. Like you will use type in some scenarios for sure. In this scenario, it is not needed. In email scenario also, it is not needed mandatorily. But in the submit scenario, if you remove the submit, it will become a text box. So you cannot click on this. So if I change the type to submit, it will turn to a box. I mean, what you can say, it will turn to a button. Value is nothing but a placeholder. Like similarly like a placeholder, you can give value to submit. You can change this to click here. It will change to click here. Straightforward, nothing complex. Don't worry about this too much. That's it. Okay, so I will give you an exercise because we are running out of time here also. So I will give you an exercise. Explore about the semantic elements. I will in the next class I will ask what is semantic elements. Nothing but you have this you don't have the definition also here. So just Google it and try to understand what is article and what is section. Very easy. If if this exercise is given to me, what I will do is I will go to the Google. I will type article HTML. I will type this and I will go to the this website called MDN. This is popular website. If I go here, the definition on the example, very straightforward. So you can explore this, and what you can do is you just explore this, and I will ask this in the next class. And that's it. Next is the last one is form again. Form with different input types. So again we are giving an h2 here. We are giving a development inside this we are declaring a form. What this form does is like form with different input types. I showed a text input type, email input type, and a submit input type. These are different input types. Here the type is date. So once I give date, it shows me an option to select date. So whatever you give in the type, it is important. Okay, so that you need to understand. So ID and name right now it is not needed. Type is the main thing. Label I already mentioned. Label is just the text. And there is one more thing called range. Range, you can see. Can you see? So if I remove the type from here, okay, second. So if I remove the type from here, it turns to a text box. So the default input, the default is always be, it will be text. Whenever we give some type to it, it will override it. If I give range to it, it will override and change to something like this. Here also, if I give, the type to submit, it changes automatically to a button. Here also, if I give type as range, it automatically changes. So here you have min max value. So like what is the maximum range they can select, etc., etc. So you can get these. I mean, whatever user chooses here, you can just get it from the JavaScript, which we'll go through later. Right now, what the main goal is, what are the things we can achieve through HTML? What are the things we can declare? Different types of things. So right now, I think mostly we are done with this. So we are done with the HTML part only. We will go through CSS quickly. So yeah, anybody have doubts here? Until up now, we gone through this entire thing. Anybody have doubts? Please feel free to ask. Okay. So what you guys can do is, I will give this. You already have this code in the in this document. You can just copy this. You can open this link and just copy this and put it in your VS Code or whatever, like whatever ID you have, and just run it. Actually, run it and just see. And what you can do is, you can give different types of type, and you can go to the Google and type like what are the different types of input type for input. What are the different types of thing we have in HTML? So you can just experiment it. So whatever things you experiment, you will learn that. If you these are only basic simple examples I gave. There are a lot many things you need to learn. So you can just experiment it and try it out. So one exercise for you is just what to understand what is semantic elements by googling. Okay, rest of the things I think I've explained. I think until up now you guys are with me. It is straightforward. We can quickly go through the CSS part. So CSS, I'm just copying this. CSS also pretty much like HTML. CSS also is based on like uh, it is experimenting thing only. Like how much ever you practice, you will learn as many things, because CSS is nothing but designing. Like whoever is for example, some people in this 13 people, some people might be interested in front end, some people might be interested in design. Those people need to dive deeper into this. Like these are only basic things which I give. There are a lot many things there. You can just experiment it and try it out. What I mean by experiment is, for example, you don't understand what is padding. Okay, if I give an exercise like to understand, tell me what is padding. What you can do is, you can just go padding CSS. You can again go to the MDN website. First thing you want to do is, like, you need to understand the definition. Then they gave the multiple examples here. If you click this example, how it changes. If you click this example, how it changes. If you click this example, so by experimenting these kind of things, you can just change the padding here. For example, where is this? I can change padding to 50 pixel, and I can save. Can you see? So this is what I'm saying. Experiment. Just in one side of the window, open the VS Code, and one side of the window, open the Chrome, and change the attributes and see how the things are changing, so that you will easily understand. Right now, padding is nothing but just the gap between the box. Actually, for example, if you see here, whatever gap is present, uh, this is the main element. The far this text, this is called padding. So if I click on this, the padding is even. Can you see in the four side the padding is applied? If I click on this, only on one side padding is applied. On top it is 10%, in bottom it is 10%. On side it is 0%. That's why they gave 0. If I turn this to 20, can you see? This is sorry, it should be 20%. See, can you see, like, this is 20%, this is 20%, the above one is 10%. This is what I'm trying to say. Please experiment, because like HTML and CSS mostly experimenting thing only. If I change this to 10, can you see this becomes even? Here also it is even, here also it is even, here also it is even. I can change this to 50, it will become weird. So you can just experiment this thing. 30, 30. So basically that's it. So you can whatever I'm just mentioning in this class, you just try it out yourself. You just experiment it. First learn it in the MDN, first understand in the MDN, then try to replicate it in your website. Actually, that's it. So let's go through these things very quickly. I gave all the definition here, but we will go through the code. Then you guys can whatever definition you want, you can just understand by this. Okay. So what is CSS? CSS is nothing but giving design to each elements in our HTML page. So there are three types which you can give HTML, which is called selectors. This is CSS basics. I think you guys will understand what is CSS basics, like changing background color, changing font size, etc., etc. So there is a thing called selector. What is selector? Selector is nothing but, for example, for example, there is a one p tag here, second p tag, third p tag. There are three p tags in this. I explained this in previous class. I'm just touching upon it. So there are three p tags. For example, if you want to give a particular design for a particular p tag, what you will do, you need to differentiate. You need to have something, a key or something like that, to differentiate it from other p tags. So that's where we use class and id. Okay. So if you read this example, CSS selectors target HTML elements to apply styles. Common types include class, id, and element selector. So one thing, what you can, there are three things which they have mentioned. So you can directly, you can directly inside the style tag, what you can directly do is you can select p tag and write whatever style you want it here. So if you write something like this, it will apply the style to all the p tags. That is called as element selector. What is element? Element is some h2 p tag image. What that is called element, right? You can choose as element and give styling to it. This will apply styling to everything, every p tag. Second way of doing it is using class. Class. That's where we introduce this type. I mean, this attribute called class, which I said previously. I will discuss later. That is what this is. So if I give class as example class, I can particularly pick this p element and give some styling to it. How I will do it? I will use the class. I will use this class attribute. For example, this is called example class, right? So I will write, I think, example class. I didn't have any style. Yeah. So for example class, I wrote a styling mentioning this. I want it as blue. If you see here, this p tag is styled in blue, right? So for example, if you selecting a element, you will write something like this. But if you use class, you need to do what? You need to give dot, then type the class name. So that is what I mentioned it here. Class in the bracket, it is mentioned it as dot. So if you want to select any class element, you need to type dot and then give the class name. That is called example class. Okay. So this is how you select the class. Right now we are just discussing how you select. Okay. Right now we are selecting class using dot. That is how you will do it. There is one more type which I mentioned here, which is called ID. You can also choose ID. If you want to select an ID, you need to use hash. So can you see? I'm using hash, and I'm just typing the ID name. So I'm just searching this ID in the HTML. So it is present where? It is present in this p tag. So there are two p tags. One is declared with class, one is declared with ID. We are going to give style to these two things. One using the class, one using the ID. Okay. So right now I will, to simplify things, what I will do is I will just remove this font pixel and I will give color as red. So previously I will remove this. So previously, like discussed, what we are doing is we are particularly selecting a p tag and giving a custom style to it. If I go here, can you see this is in blue and this is in red? But if I just remove this and p tag and I open this and color as yellow. If I save this, can you see every p tag is turned to yellow? I think yellow is not visible much. I'm keeping it as green. Can you see it turns to green? So you learn three selectors. One is element type selector. If you choose to select as element, every element will apply. Every element will be applied this whatever you give inside this. But you can just do something like this also. You can select class also. You can select ID. That is your choice. You can use ID. You can give class. That it is literally the same. You can give class here, you can give id here. For example, if I change this to class, if I change this to id, if I save it, can you see the styles are gone. Why it is gone? Because I'm selecting it, selecting wrongly, right? This example class is now what? Example class is now ID, but ID should be selected by hashtag. So I'm giving hashtag now and saving it. Can you see it turned to blue? Here what we need to do? Here we need to give dot. So literally they are same. Whatever you can choose whatever you want. You can give class, you can give a dot, and you can write. You can select them and you can write custom CSS for them. In the selectors, anybody have doubt? Okay, most of them left the class, I guess. Only six. Okay. Okay, it's okay. So we will go through it, and people who left, they can see the recording and they can learn it. Okay. So selectors, you guys learned it. So selectors simply, but you can choose any element using three things. One is their name. Name is either name is h2p div or whatever you want, or you can choose class or ID. Third one is box model. So box model is nothing but a box model includes margins, border, padding, and content area element, etc. So this is called a box model. So right now we will come from bottom down approach. So first we will see what this is. So what they are doing is they are selecting this body tag. I mean body element. This is body element, right? This is the body element. They are choosing this entire thing. They are choosing this entire thing and they are giving some styling to it. What styling they are giving? The background color should be this color, the color should be this color, and the font family should be this. And padding, padding is nothing but the whatever the space you see here, in here and here and here. That is padding. So they are choosing the body and giving the style according to it. For example, if I give margin as 100, I mean 10, you can see it is coming closer. It is shrinking. If I give 50, I think 50 doesn't know. If I give 20, I think I will give 0. So can you see it is shrinking and going about? So margin is nothing but you are seeing some margin here, right? I'm removing this margin here. You can see the difference clearly. If I save it, the margin is gone. So if I give margin as 0, it is declaring it margin as 0. If I remove the padding, can you see the padding is removed? So mostly CSS is all about the experimenting by yourself. So if I give padding as 50, it comes closer. If I give it as 100, it comes too much closer. Padding is nothing but the side. I mean the padding, whatever I've shown here. Padding is nothing but the side elements. So that is what I'm trying to say. The main thing you want to understand is how to select a particular HTML element and apply styling to it. Then they're applying stuff. Then we are applying H1 and H2. You can write something like this also. So for H1 and H2, what we are doing, the color we are applying some color to it, which is green. So that's why every that's why every heading is in green color. I can change this to whatever color I want. I can change this to pink. I can save it. So every you can see every heading is turned to a pink color. So this is how you select a particular element and give styling to it. We talked about ID and this is class and this is ID. Then we are coming to the box. Box is also nothing but like box contains with padding, border, margin, background color. You can change the background color here. You can save it. You can see the background color changes for this particular box. But you can see how the box is declared. So they are having some class called box. You can search it in the web page. So if you see this div is called box. This div is called box. So that's how they are calling this box class and they're applying style to it with padding, border, margin, background color. Background color is explainable, margin is straightforward, border is also straightforward. What they are doing, they're giving border as 2 pixel. You can just change it. If you change this to 10 pixel, can you see the border is getting thicker and thicker and thicker. If I give under 100, it will look weird. I will give 30. It will be more thicker. So the main thing is experimenting. Just go experiment this once you get back. So we can give color to the back. I mean the border also. You can remove the solid. It will be little. It will be. I mean you can't see it. So you need to give the solid tag. I mean solid tag here. Then margin. width is nothing but how much width you want to give. If I give 100, it will be shrink. Width is nothing but the uh, width is nothing but the length actually. The width. If I give it as 500, it will be very much wider. If I give 100, it will be something like this. So everything is straightforward here. Then okay, this is box model. This is positioning. Positioning is nothing but like for example, these HTML, these pages are everything is divided into pixel and pixels. So you can just push an element wherever you want. For example, I want the left side to be 50 pixels right. I want the top should be 20 pixel. You can just change it and see. You change it. Can you see it comes down? So it positions the box in a particular position in the web page. So if you give 10, it will go a little bit above. So if you give 20, it will come 20. Can you see it? It comes down. If you give 30, it comes little bit down. So it positions itself. That is called position. If you give position as relative, if you give position as relative, yeah, simply that is called like you can edit whatever the elements left position or top position or right position or left position. So that is what they are doing here. For example, it is little bit it is having the left as position as 50 pixel. I can reduce it to 10 pixels. So it goes to the left hand side. So because it has only 10 pixels here. If I give it as 100 pixels, it will come to the too much right hand side. It has 100 pixels here. This is straightforward. Simply what we are doing is like where this element needs to be positioned in the web page. That's what we are declaring. Straightforward. Then then the next element is flexbox. That flexbox, yeah, this is called flexbox. So flexbox is little bit different. There are multiple there are a lot of things you need to learn in the flexbox. Again, what you can do is you can give flexbox an MDN because there are a lot of things. That's why I'm just telling to experiment here. For example, you can see every box is aligned in this order. We can do this to our web page also. We can just remove this display flex, and if we save, can you see every element is in a single line? Flex one, I mean every box in single line. If we want to change it, if we want to flex it, we want to give display flex and justify content as space between. Nothing but space between means it will give equal space in between the elements. Can you see equal space, equal space, equal space? There are multiple things you can give here. There are a lot of options give here. You can give some space around every, like something will be applicable, something will not be applicable. 10 pixel, okay. I think we are running out of time. Okay, then background color, padding, I already explained these things. Background color, padding, color, text align. What are the other main things? Okay, until of this you guys can experiment it and understand, right? Like,
Hello.
hello, yeah.
What is that the flexis one means?
Okay. So flex one means how can I say, like how much flex the element should contain. For example, I can give it as 10. Uh, I think it works on 20. Some flex only supported by few elements. I think flex element. Right. So what we are trying to do here is like, can you see why we use flex one here? So we are just trying to flex the element to space between. For example, we gave space between here, so we need to give the equal space in between. If we give flex one, there are multiple things in the. If we give flex one, sorry, if we give flex one, it is flexing the element straightforward. It is just flexing the element. Can you see? Specifies the component of a flexible length actually. The flex grow factor and flex shrink factor and the flex basis. There are, can I can explain an example here. Flex. So can you see? I'm trying to interpret it in a better wording actually. This is what I'm trying to say. Flex is little bit whatever they have mentioned in the word. That is what flex is called. If you give one means it will apply to everything. This is flex one and flex two. If you give flex two, every element will get applied flex two. Then if you give 30 pixel, it will just adjust it. It will give 100 pixel. It will adjust based on that. So if you turn this to two, what happens? Like all these things, like we need to experiment and understand. There are lot of things in the CSS. Since I'm a backend developer, I forgot many of the things in the CSS part. So other thing I wanted to explain is this major thing. So this is called media queries. So for example, your web page is not only rendered in the browser, your web page might be opened in the phone also. So there you need to write custom logics. For example, if my phone is opened in mobile, I need to string this button to very smaller button. I need to string this word to a different word. So all these things you can do. Right now, what we are doing is we are giving max with us 600 pixel. If this max with us not 600 pixels, if it exceeds, we are turning the background color to this color. I will show you an example itself. If I will give inspect. I'm giving this to an iPhone 12 Pro. Can you see? I'll just give responsive. This is what you call the pixel size. I'm just reducing. If I go 600 below, can you see 601? If I go to 600 below, it turns the background color to blue. So these responsive things also you can write in the HTML and CSS. Also you can experiment it using this elements tab. These are the padding which we apply. These are the border margin. What is the pixel size? You can just remove the elements from here and experiment. If I give color to different thing, what it changes. You can just experiment everything in the browser also. So main thing is media queries is used to write custom logics for responsive design. Responsive is nothing but your web page is responsive. It can be opened in a bigger window. For example, if you have a smaller laptop, the screen size will be smaller. So based on those things, you can write logics. If it is below 600 pixel, I want to show this background color. If it above, you can write many custom logics. This is only basics class. I'm just introducing to basic things. So this is media query, and apart from that, this is typography. This is also straightforward. You can give whatever font family you want. You can just change the font. Here we change the font to Courier New. So like that you can give, and you can change the font size, line height, and text center. If I remove the text alignment center, it will go to the left hand side. If I remove this, it goes to the left hand side. So CSS is nothing but writing custom logics to the particular HTML elements. That's it. I think mostly that's it. You because we are running out of time. Is there any other thing you guys want to ask? So what you guys can do is I will share this link with you. You first go through the HTML thing and experiment it, and go to the CSS and just change everything and experiment it. And if you want to understand what is padding, just go to the internet and type what is padding. MDN. This is MDN. You can just understand it. That's it. Because this Mon course this consists of lot of things. There are plenty of things to cover: backend, Node.js, React, etc., etc. This HTML and CSS very little part of this thing. We cannot go dive deep into it, explaining everything, because it will take at least 1 month to complete everything. So you need to experiment this and learn this by yourself. Then we can fastly move to JavaScript. Then we can fastly move to Node.js, database, etc., etc. So this I will share with you guys. Experiment these two things. I will put some homework below this. Just do it. We can discuss about the homeworks in the next class, right? Okay, I think sorry for taking lot of time, more than 1 hour. I think, yeah, let's wrap it up. If you have any doubts, you can stay in the call and ask me. If you Yeah, anyone can stay. Apart from this class, any common doubt, anything, you can just stay now and ask me. If you don't have doubt, you can just leave. Share my screen if you want to ask anything related to HTML CSS. Any doubts? Thank you. Hello. 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 Sir. Hi, da. வாய்ஸ் கேட்கலடா. ஓகே, கால் பண்றியா எனக்கு? நான் இன்னைக்கு இல்லை நாளைக்கு எப்போன்னு எனக்கு டைம் சொல்றியா? ஓகே, நான் வாட்ஸ்அப்ல மெசேஜ் பண்றேன். வாய்ஸ் எனக்கு கேட்கல.